Fucking hell. Fuck, I'm dead.
Oh shit, mate, I think that was you. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
you
so
killed me.
sorry. I am so sorry.
It happened.
Sorry, man, I didn't expect you to still be so close.
Don't worry about it.
What's up guys, it's Average Ol, making average content for the average viewer, and as of the past couple of weeks, I have found my life being slowly but surely taken over by one particular game. And that game is Escape from Tarkov. You can call me a masochist all you like, but the truth of the matter is that there is just something about this game that keeps me coming back like that crazy ex-girlfriend that kept cutting up all your clothes, but you can't stay away because of how she puts her ass in the air whilst keeping her chest completely flat to the ground. But I digress. I wanted to start a little mini-series on this channel where I tell you everything I have learned over the past couple of weeks, whilst I myself have been learning this game. As a complete and utter noob myself, I have found that when looking at some of the so-called Escape from Tarkov beginner's guides on YouTube, I am completely and utterly overwhelmed by all of the information that I am being given. The thing is, with this game, is that there is so much information to take in as a new player that it often feels like there is no way that you're going to be able to learn this game, and you might as well quit and go back to playing bloody Fortnite. Ew, gross. So anyway, I wanted to bring out a beginner's guide for this game from the perspective of a complete beginner, or at least a 2-week-old beginner. So here are my 3 best tips for starting out in Escape from Tarkov. Number 1. Know your ammo. Okay, so if you've played more than an hour of this game and you've been lucky enough to actually see a player without getting your head popped quicker than you can say, is that a scav or not? You'll have noticed that your bullets seem to be about as useful as a chocolate dildo. It all seems fine at first, but you soon realise that nothing is actually happening anymore, and before you know it, you have to pay a fortune in medical bills. This is because Tarkov has an extremely complicated ammo system. If you have done any amount of research on this topic already, you'll have been bombarded with a shit ton of random letters and numbers that mean as much to you as when you look at your car engine after you've broken down. So instead of listing off all the different ammo types and asking you to absorb this information like a sponge, I'm going to give you the exact tips that I used for making sense of the ammo system in Escape from Tarkov. So, the way I got around it was by looking for the most common ammo type that I have been using. For example, in the early game, the most common caliber of bullet that you are going to be using is the 545x39 for a lot of the AK variants that you'll find. Now, the mistake I found I was making is that I was constantly checking the Tarkov wiki, which I will link down in the description, and trying to make sense of the different values that each of the bloody 12 different 545 ammo have, only to realise that the ammo that looks decent isn't even available to buy when you're this low level, so you're back to the drawing board. So my advice is that when you're muddling through trying to climb up to level 10, it's probably best to accept that you have a standard AK that you have found off of a scav or something. 9 times out of 10, your bullets aren't going to do a lot of damage to a fully geared and armoured player. Now obviously there are some exceptions to this, but until you have familiarised yourself with all the different ammo types, my advice is to do one of 2 things. First of all, just aim for the bloody face. I don't care if you're a level 20 or a level 45. If you don't have a face shield, there is only so many times you can be shot in the face before you fall on your ass faster than a kid with no arms on a swing. Obviously, I know that this means you need decent aim to begin with, but trust me, aiming for the head is going to be a good habit to get into for any game. Okay, so what if the enemy does have a face shield on, or if you're using a really high fire rate gun like an MP5K? Well, this is where the leg meta comes into play. Again, I am not an expert on this, so please forgive me if I put this into super simple terms that even a 3-year-old can understand. But in Escape from Tarkov's current state, there is no way to put armour on your legs. Now as a rule of thumb, most of the low level shitty ammo in the game has an okay flesh damage, but where it lacks is in its ability to penetrate. Story of my life. What this means is that you can spray the shit out of someone's legs and black them out pretty quickly. From here you won't need too many more bullets to finish them off, as every bullet taken by a blacked out limb does 100% damage to the limb surrounding that leg, thus doing more damage to the overall health of the player. And if this still seems a bit too complicated, just think of it as you shoot them in the leg and then they die. Just keep shooting them there. This means that even the shitty ammo that you bought off Prapor can still take down a fully geared player in a decent amount of bullets. Number 2. Learn a map. Now this tip isn't going to come as much of a surprise to any of you who have watched a few beginner's guides, but it's one that has helped me out an absolute ton. Most people will suggest that you start out your Tarkov journey on customs, as this is the map that most of your early tasks will be in. From here, I would suggest loading up a website called Map Genie on your phone or second monitor / laptop if you have one. I will also link this down in the description. When you first go into a game and double tap O to find your extract, it will seem very daunting, as a few of these extracts are called very similar things and many of them have question marks and what seems like completely arbitrary requirements that mean absolutely nothing to you. So I would suggest that you learn these 2 extracts. Crossroads, which is at the most westerly side of the map near the big red warehouse, and ZB1011, which is in a little hut on the east. One of these 2 extracts will always be open to you whether you are playing as a PMC or a Scav, and once you know how to get to them, you will feel a hell of a lot more comfortable navigating around the map. The next thing that you'll want to do is have a loot route in mind that you can do a few times a day to get familiar with. For this, I'm going to send you to a great video by a very new creator called All Fun and James 0. He has a brilliant video on a low risk, high reward loot route that will have you raking in fat stacks in no time. A link to this will also be in the description. And number 3. Don't underestimate the Scavs. If you've been watching any Escape from Tarkov gameplay, you'll have probably realised that the most top tier content creators of the game will often say stuff like, oh, it's just a Scav, or don't worry, it's just Scavs. And while this is fair enough for a more adept player like this, for someone like us, it's a very dangerous mindset to have. The AI in this game is a lot more brutal than the AI in many other games that you might have played. Something to remember is that the lower levels in the game, the chances are that you aren't wearing the best of armour, and where the Scavs usually have pretty shitty ammo, if you don't have anything covering your stomach, head or thorax, you are likely to go down like a sack of shit. For this reason, I would suggest treating all gunfights as equal, whether you suspect them to be PMC or Scavs. The reason I say this is that there are certain things that will get you killed either way. For example, if you take a shot at either a player or an AI Scav, if you choose to repeat from that same angle for a second time, it will not be long before you're staring at a screen that says head eyes. The thing is, the Scavs in this game will give you probably 1 chance per peek. This means that the best way to take them on is to take a shot from one position and then immediately change positions and take your follow-up shot from a completely different angle. The Scavs will not predict exactly where you have moved to, which should give you ample opportunity to finish them off. To be honest, although this is true for the Scavs in this game, it really is just a great habit to get into in general, as re-peeking a position in any situation in most games is a surefire way to have your head taken clean off your shoulders. One more quick tip whilst we're talking about the Scavs is that you should try and go in with the armour that you can buy off Ragman level 1. On the face of things, this might seem like a big waste of time, as a quick look on the wiki will soon tell you that pretty much every round in the game can penetrate it. However, a good thing to bear in mind is that this armour will prevent you from getting one-shotted to the chest by a Scav with a shotgun, so it might be worth slapping it on and potentially saving you from extra frustration in a game that already causes more stress than doing a tax return the night before your deadline. So there we have it, my 3 best tips to get you started in Escape from Tarkov from one complete noob to another. I really hope that you found this useful. I plan on making more videos like this alongside my regular Call of Duty content for a while and helping you guys progress as I do, so I really hope you enjoyed it. If you've watched these videos for a while, you'll know that I love to see who sticks around until the end. So if you're still here, I'd like you to let me know by answering this question down in the comments. What is the hardest game you have ever played? Anyway, that's it from me today. I'm Average Joel. Peace.
Oh, ow. It's one way in, one way out. Yeah.
That's what she said.
Why?
Because, don't know. She's sick of me trying to go all the way through.